The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit.
Fly ball, gap, right center field. And
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, run and Buster Grandma. It is grand salami time.
Will send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
2026 Seattle Mariners have got to be the greatest baseball team I've ever seen. Episode 179 of the Light the W podcast. Waldemar Anderson, joined by Jeff Budke. And Jeff, the 2026 Seattle Mariners are, answer the question, finish the statement. What are they?
What are they?
Finish it. Is there a way to finish it?
They're 500. They're bad.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much.
I was hoping we could talk about the Seattle Seahawks instead today. Let's just do like a complete.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a team that actually cares about winning.
Okay. All right. Let's start with Big Cat. Number one defensive tackle in football.
Who is the Devin Witherspoon of the Seattle Mariners? We don't have one.
This team is draining. This team.
Draining is such a good word.
Frustrating. Yeah. I think draining is the word I'd use right now. I'm in Hawaii. I've been in Hawaii for the past 9 days. And I have watched a little bit of the Mariners here and there. And every time I turn on a Mariners game, I think to myself and say, why am I watching this right now?
Mahal, you're a young man. Hopefully you haven't been in a bad relationship where you've been dating the wrong person for too long. She's giving you all the signals that she wants out. She's letting you know that she's not that into this. The good days are fine. The bad days are often. It's what it's starting to feel like. A little bit cumbersome, a little bit exhausting, a little bit like, what else is out there? The World Cup is not cut. The World Cup's gone for us. So we're in trouble.
I would like to thank the U.S. men's national team for ruining my July. Because now I have to think about and watch baseball more. And for me, baseball is the Seattle Mariners in 2026. And the 2026 Seattle Mariners are Dan Wilson and a bunch of idiots.
The logical thing for me to come on here and say is baseball happens. The Marlins are on fire. They have won 16 of their last 18 games. We just happen to be in the way of a train going at like one of those speed trains that, that's not the right word. Great podcast. What's the train called that goes fast?
I wish I could tell you, Jeff. I wish I could tell you, not a train guy.
Are killing us. But
we're brain cells. They're gone.
But it just feels like instead of baseball happening where we face a good team 3,000 miles away from us, where it just feels like this is a Mariners thing to do. A rare home series win against the Blue Jays. This could 5-1 at home. This could be another takeoff, and we refuse to do it.
It feels like a circus show to me. It's just, you have one thing go right, you take one step forward, and you take 2 steps back. You take 3 steps back, right? Like, you're missing Julio Rodriguez. You're missing Brendan Donovan. You're missing Matt Brash. Yes. You've had the injuries. Yes. But this is the most talented Mariners roster since when? Since forever? Like, what Mariners roster on paper is more talented than this over the past at least 20, 30 years?
The steroid-infused 2001 squad. I'm not saying Ichiro did steroids. I'm talking about Brett Boone and, a lot of those guys. But is there anything worse right now than when a casual fan asks you how the Mariners are? Because it's one of my least favorite things right now is when someone says, hey, Jeff, how the M's doing? I'm like, we're really good, and we're 500, and we suck.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, I'm recording actually last night, recording this one Thursday, July 9th. I recorded last night. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's wrong with this team? It's the same issue we've had for 5 years. The offense isn't the offense it's had to be. Guys are underperforming. Except the issue now is that not only is Julio Rodriguez underperforming, your catcher's underperforming, your infield is underperforming minus Cole Young. Your entire roster pretty much is underperforming minus Canzone and Cole Young. Like, there's a lot of things just not clicking. And it feels like it's only a matter of time. It's felt like this the whole year before some of these things start to click. But at what point is it too late for these things to click?
It feels like the thing that needs to click is that the other teams in the American League are going to give up at some point, and that's the only way we're going to spring forward this season, is other teams collapsing. We don't seem capable of taking that excellent step.
Yeah, there's no hunger, no desire, no willingness to go and just push a team out of your way and force them to lose and force yourself on them and show them that, yeah, we are the better team. We were projected to win 90, 95 games for a reason. Look, we're tied for first place still. We're 500. We're 47-47. But it sure doesn't feel like it.
When I'm feeling down, I like to, just in life, I like to write down things I'm grateful for. So I did that for you. I thought you'd like that.
I'm appreciative of it.
I'm grateful for Dominic Canzone and the platoon being lifted.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for Cole Young and Colt Emerson existing and being super young and playing second base and shortstop for our team. I'm grateful for Julio. Man, I miss you. Sometimes I get frustrated because I want you to be MVP 1, but you're MVP 8 every year, and we don't have that right now. Brian Wu at home. Logan Gilbert. I think it's really cool that we play our home games in an awesome stadium that has a retractable roof. I think that's really cool. Las Montes is in AAA. I'm really grateful for that. I think that's cool.
Jeff's grateful to be able to go see Las Montes.
Does he look like SGA to you at all?
Jeff, I don't look at SGA. We don't speak of that team here.
My bad. Okay. So, what you and I, when we committed to talk about this team, for me once a week, for you 3 times a week since March 1st, when we committed to that, I think you and I both had the same idea in mind. It's that 2003 Boston Red Sox team where they lost the LCS in the most excruciating way possible. Aaron Boone hits a walk-off home run off Tim Wakefield, that knuckleball, in like the bottom of the 11th. It feels like the sky is falling. 2004 is that group of happy idiots. They trade their cornerstone player. They go down 0-3 to the Yankees, and then they go on to win the next 8 games and win the World Series. And it's something that Boston will remember every second of forever and ever. And it was painful along the way, but worth every step. When does that magic begin?
Yeah, I mean, where's the magic with this team? Where's the joy with this team? You talked about a group of just happy, fun-loving, we're going out there and playing baseball because we love baseball. Ultimately, on March 1st, you and I, or whatever date it was, you and I set ourselves to record every week, and I set myself to 3 times a week, not because of whatever this podcast could become, whatever. That doesn't matter. I'm here because I love this team. I love talking about this team. I love doing this. Do these guys love playing baseball? I can't tell.
It's been a while since we've had a fun episode. It's felt like a long stretch.
And I think the frustrating and the most frustrating part of it all is that it just feels so close. Like you're just a couple guys doing what they normally do away from this team looking at the American League and laughing at 95% of it. Like, and that's the frustrating part. This team, I truly believe, can be the very best in the American League, but they haven't shown it at all this year. There was that 8-game stretch where they were tearing the cover off the baseball and pitching pretty well. But outside of that, it has been atrocious. It has been frustrating. It's been draining. I'm tired, fed up with this team, and I am so ready for the All-Star break and the draft this weekend.
The last 3 years in the American League, there have been 6 different teams represented in the ALCS. Texas and Astros, Yankees and Guardians, last year Blue Jays and Mariners. Yes, the American League looks bad record-wise. It's wide open. That's why we've been screaming this for years. At this point, I'm like, it's just going to be 2 other random teams. No one can grab a hold of that. Astros made it, 7 years in a row? It's what we want. It's what we want to see them do. So we haven't prepped this. I'm like, what is our Nomar Garciaparra? What is the trade that we could send out that hurts, that's going to make us better? I'm not talking about a return package right now. We're going to do that later. Who's a player that we could send out that would hurt, that could help us?
Last night, I'm gonna get to what you're saying. I promise. It's gonna be long-winded. Last night, I'm prepping for the episode. I'm prepping for my recording. I'm uploading my recording after, and I'm listening to Jason Churchill's Baseball Things podcast. Love that podcast. Well worth the money that we pay for it. And he talked about the deadline. And he talked about how he has heard from other teams, people with other organizations, that the Mariners are having discussions, having talks about some of these guys that are going to hurt. They haven't said anybody is untradeable. Nobody. They haven't shut down any conversation. That means all 6 starting pitchers. That means the entire roster. So your question, who's our Nomar Garciaparra? It's one of those starting pitchers. And to me, it's George Kirby or Logan Gilbert. And when I look at this deadline and how there are going to be a lot of teams that think they're competitive, that believe they're competitive, and they're going to be contenders, how are you going to make your team better? How are you going to bring in a big piece? How are you going to make a big trade? And I've said they don't necessarily need to, but a big trade would go a long way for this team. It would show a lot of belief. If you go and trade one of those 2 starting pitchers and you go get the hitting equivalent of them, or you go get a great everyday hitter that can impact this lineup, and you go get a bullpen arm, that's the type of thing that is, look, that hurts. It's going to hurt the day one of those 2 guys gets traded, whether it's in the offseason or at the deadline. But this team needs a shakeup. And that's the type of shakeup that is like Nomar Garciaparra, where this roster changes, there's a little bit of a culture change, and all of a sudden this team having fun again, playing the baseball we love to watch again, the baseball we love to talk about again. And we're having those moments from 2022 where I remember where I was when they're hitting home runs, when they're winning games, when they're on the winning streak. Where are those moments? That's how we get to those moments. So to answer your question, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, I think those are the 2 guys to keep your eye on as one of those trades that it's hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. But in the end, it's going to make sense, and it's going to be worth it.
I wrote down George number 1, which I can't believe that's where I'm at. The second name I wrote down was Randy Arozarena. The third name I wrote down was J.P. Crawford. And then I wrote Logan as well. But Logan right now would be genuinely shocking to me. Like that, it's not that it would hurt. I would be floored. I'd be like, yo, he might be the best pitcher in the American League the last 6 weeks. Kind of floored.
Yeah. And I mean, it would take someone huge to go and do that, which is why ultimately, I mean, George Kirby seemed like he would make more sense. But I think the names that you would think about are George Kirby, Emerson Hancock on the pitching side even could make some sense. We've talked about Luis Castillo, of course, but that's not one that would hurt necessarily as much. I think Randy Arozarena would surprise me a little bit more, but JP Crawford definitely could make some sense, especially to clear the way for you to go bring in a bat in the infield that would make a lot more sense and may fit this team better.
If Brendan Donovan is alive.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, is he? We don't know. We don't know.
He's in Arizona, which to me is a mythical place. People don't live in Arizona in July and August. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of National League teams that think that they're in it that need pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I mean, we've circled the Cubs already before. Like I've talked about Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if I've talked about it necessarily on the show, but I've been talking about Seiya Suzuki and Luis Castillo as a trade for a very long time. But I mean, I think you could see something even crazier go down, whether it's a 3-team trade, whether it's a bigger player with more control. I think that the Mariners are going to target an impact bat that has multiple years of control, whether it's a year and a half, whether it's 2.5 years. I think that's the type of thing we're going to look at, and it could come from the National League, come from the American League. But everyone's going to need pitching. Everyone's going to need hitting. And it's just something feels like it might fall together to make this deadline a really memorable one, especially for the Mariners.
the Toronto Blue Jays, we just played them. They were in San Francisco. They did fine. I was kind of hoping they'd go on this West Coast trip and be out of it. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are closer to the division lead in the West than the Blue Jays are to the Rays. Like the Blue Jays are not winning the American League East this year. The American League is that crazy that like the Blue Jays' only hope right now of making the playoffs is a wild card. They have no shot of passing the Rays or the Yankees.
I'm floored. That's actually crazy.
I like
Yeah,
to floor you like every once a month. I like to throw something out at you that just like knocks you down.
Each of us every once in a while throws something at the other where we're speechless, don't know what to say back. I think that was my moment right there. American League is wide open. God.
Jeff, name a Mariner All-Star was mine a week ago, and I was like, I don't know. I don't like any of them. Dom. Okay. Can we talk quickly about Willson Contreras? I know we're going to do more stuff. I know.
I had it there as well.
The rumors are starting to fly. Can you just tell me whose at-bats is he taking? Is it Garver's and Refsnyder's? Like, do you know what the hypothetical plan would be?
All right. I think to me he's a DH, correct? Everyone
Yeah,
correct?
he could play some first for Naylor like once a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets Naylor off his feet a little bit, which I think would help Naylor. So I think he would mix in there. But I also think he would DH a lot, and you would see Dom Canzone in right field pretty much every day. And I think that would be the biggest change. I think Canzone would get some days off probably with Donovan mixing, and JP would get some days off. I think Colt Emerson is going to lose playing time when Brendan Donovan gets back. I think that's something to pay attention to, as will JP Crawford. But on the fit specifically for Willson Contreras, I want to talk about 3 trades that the Mariners have made over the past 5-ish years.
I have one too. Yes.
Okay.
Look at us.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So I did a lot of stuff with record today in my prep for today's episode. I started with managers, but in 2022, Seattle Mariners traded on June 27th for Carlos Santana. After the trade for Carlos Santana, the Mariners were 50-29. Pretty good. 21 games above 500 after trading for Carlos Santana. He made a difference. What did he bring? A good bat and veteran presence.
Hit that home run in the Toronto wildcard series. I want to say it wasn't a grand slam because there was a wild pitch before. So it was a 3-run, but it would have been a grand slam if the pitch had been 1 pitch earlier.
Carlos Santana was Mr. Blue Jays killer after they traded for him.
That was so
It was
sick.
great.
Him and Luis Castillo alone.
Just incredible. And, I mean, the buddy he had with Julio, he helped unlock Julio that rookie year. It was huge. The veteran presence he brought. The next year, I believe it was the next year, the Mariners traded on July 29th for Justin Turner. Their record after that was 26-22. Not as incredible, not as over the top, right? 4 games above 500, but he brought a big veteran presence. He brought some leadership that the team desperately needed at that point. Again, because this was a young team that was inexperienced. They didn't really have a huge leader. Okay, they needed that.
That was 23.
That was 23, correct,
That's
I believe.
also the year we got Canzone, but not really what you're talking about.
What a deadline. Was that 23? That might have been 24.
We won the Paul Sewald trade, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Keep going.
But, I mean, you speak of the Paul Sewald trade, like, that's the type of trade that could happen here at this deadline. Something similar to that, but probably 2 major leaguer or more major leaguers involved going for each other. Anyway, as I was saying, back to Willson Contreras and these trades. Last year, on July 24th, the Seattle Mariners traded for Joshua Naylor. Their record after trading for Joshua Naylor was 43-27. What did he bring? An impact bat as well as leadership, a new voice, a fresh face, and a guy that knows how to win and play baseball. He plays hard. He plays great. Willson Contreras knows how to win. This is a guy that was on the Cubs in 2016. He knew how to break that. He was there. He experienced that. This guy with a ton of experience, a guy that was a former catcher. Dan Wilson would freaking love him as much as I hate it. Right? This is a guy that would bring a leadership voice to this team, a guy that is coming from outside the organization. Like, he is so perfect in so many ways. And then you look at what his bat has done, and oh my God, he is perfect.
I cannot believe that the 3 trades you wrote down. Willson Contreras is a 34-year-old right-handed Venezuelan. Does that sound familiar at all to Seattle fans? We traded for Gino twice.
Jeff, I don't speak of that man today. I don't speak of that man. He's definitely not in my notes as a guy that could potentially be an experienced leader that you trade for.
You want Eugenio back?
No. But after Willson Contreras, I went down the route of who else could potentially fit that type of player. There's pretty much no one. There's pretty much no one on any team. Willson Contreras is one of the few ones. I had Salvador Perez, not going to happen. I had Nolan Arenado, not going to happen.
Wait. Salvi got my attention. The Royals are bad.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Bad.
Year and a half left on the contract to Salvi. I believe it's around 11.
He's not bad.
No. The question is, would the Royals trade him?
Willson Contreras, 1.5 years, probably about $27 million for the team to pay. Not our favorite thing to do. Salvi's like 11. God, how old is Salvi?
But he has been atrocious this year. The issue is that he's been a terrible player. Like, terrible.
He's getting a statue in Kansas City outside the stadium someday. Is it, like, of our guys that have statues, Ichiro played for another team, Griffey played for another team. Like, is that a deal breaker? I don't think so, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Salvi's stats even just like right now, right? Like, I mean, this is a guy that this year has just not been good. He's a negative WAR player. He's a 61 WRC plus, but he's still played about 40% of his games at catcher. If you're telling me he's a DH most of the time, I think that there's something that makes sense there. And then you go look at his splits against left-handed pitching. 92 at-bats against left-handed pitching. He has a WRC plus of 121. He's still hitting 283 with a 489 slug against left-handed pitching. Right? I mean, it makes sense.
It has not been lost on you and me that the only time this team has looked good this season is when Cal was hurt and our catcher position was producing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Salvi
I don't think it's lost on us at all.
Salvi could help.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's 36. Huge experience. He won a World Series as well. Him and Willson Contreras both also are guys that are catchers and are guys that could potentially help Cal Raleigh start to sort some stuff out.
I am less afraid of Salvi's explosions than Willson Contreras is. I think that that'd be good for our team, but it is throwing like a bit of a Molotov cocktail into a room that doesn't appear to be under control right now.
Yeah.
What's Dan Wilson going to say to him? Stop. Don't.
I mean, what if we trade for Salvi and make him our manager?
Player coach.
This is what, go back to player coaching. This is it.
Well, we did it. We fixed them out. We fixed the M's.
We fixed the Mariners. We've done it. Now, look, nobody is going to be a perfect fit at this deadline. I think that we have made that pretty clear. I don't think anyone's going to be a perfect fit. And I think it's going to be really hard to find the perfect fit.
There's one annoying lefty from Detroit that I would disagree with you on, but I understand. Point made.
Jeff, we're not talking about the Seattle U legend. We're not talking about it. We can't do it, Jeff. We have 6 starting pitchers already, Jeff.
If you're asking me if a perfect fit exists, there is one. There's one.
All right. Fair enough. There are not many perfect fits. And it's going to be really hard to see what this Mariners team can do. But what is clear is that there needs to be something fresh in this clubhouse, whether it's a player, whether it's a manager. It's just something we've talked about a lot and something that I prepped a lot for in this episode. Because there is a real possibility, Jeff, that the Mariners go 0-6 on this road trip. And they head into the All-Star break with the draft already sorted out. And you got, 4 or 5 days to sort this thing out. I'm talking about Dan Wilson if you haven't already picked it up. I want to talk about Dan Wilson versus Scott Service very quickly. Not because I want to compare what the two did, but I want to use Scott Service as reference for what Dan Wilson has done in terms of winning. Now, mind you, Dan Wilson in 2026 has a better roster than Scott Service ever had. Dan Wilson in 2025 had a better roster on paper than Scott Service ever had. And Scott Service in his Mariners career had a winning percentage of .514. You take out 2019 and 2020, the 2 tanking years, win percentage of .531.
Ooh, almost 54. Almost.
Then you look at 2021 to 2023, those 3 years, he had a win percentage of .551. The road record over those 3 seasons was 131 and 112. That's a .539 win percentage. That .539 win percentage on the road is better than Dan Wilson's winning percentage in 2025 and 2026, which is .535 currently. And Jeff, his winning percentage in his career as a manager is .547. Dan Wilson, 54%. But the issue is his road record. I looked at just the past 2 seasons, took out that little taste he had in 2024 after Service was fired. Road record over the past 2 seasons for Dan Wilson, not including 2 days lost, 59 and 68, .465 win percentage. Again, Scott Service in 2021 to 2023, .539. That is a 70% difference in win percentage on the road from Scott Service to Dan Wilson. Is it coincidental? Sure. Could it be correlation? It absolutely could. And I don't know what it is, but this team needs to figure it out on the road and figure it out ASAP, because that is what is killing this team right now.
I mean, he sucks.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Sorry, I was just looking at the Cubs roster, figuring out who we could trade George Kirby and Luis Castillo for.
Good. Okay. I'm enjoying that.
Dude, all those numbers, everything you're saying, like Scott Service, we felt like the whole time, like, oh man, he's kind of like a puppet. What's he bringing to this team? Like the guys seem to like him, but he doesn't really like fight for anybody. Will Stan is like him on steroids. It's way worse. It's
way
so
worse.
annoying.
Way worse. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And I think that it is going to be a real interesting test of the Mariners if they get swept by the Tampa Bay Rays here in Tampa over this weekend. Because if they go 0-6 on the road trip heading into the All-Star break after a huge series win against the Blue Jays at home, and they don't fire Dan Wilson with 4 days to figure out who else.
What of these games are we going to win? Logan pitches,
None of them. None of them.
Yeah, no.
We're not winning any of them, Jeff. I mean, I think that's my point. You're not going to win a game, and the draft isn't even at the beginning of next week. I thought the draft was during next week, and I was going to use that as a potential excuse they could use and be like, we have to focus on the draft. If they go 0-6 on this road trip, get swept by the Tampa Bay Rays, and Dan Wilson is not fired on Sunday night, my mind will be blown. And if that happens, I will be done talking about firing Dan Wilson because I don't know what it would take to fire Dan at that point. And if they are genuinely not going to fire Dan Wilson because he is the yes man that they want, and because in August they have a 50th anniversary celebration with the 50 best players and Dan Wilson is there and Edgar Martinez is there, if that's the reason they're not firing him, this organization has bigger problems. I don't want to get into it right now. I don't think we need to have this big conversation right now. But, Jeff, anything you got to say about Dan Wilson?
That's exactly what's going to happen. Nothing.
Yep. And that's the concern.
Nico Horner, come home. Alex Bregman?
Yes,
Alex Bregman? Dude, I freaking love Ian Happ. Is he lefty or righty?
He's no trade, I think.
Switch.
He'd be a rental as well. Yeah.
Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ for George Kirby. Call it in. We'll figure it out.
Oh, my, Jeff. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Can we have a reliever, too? They do bullpen by committee. You can just take us out of the show, and I'm just going to keep saying Cubs names.
It's going to be great. I started this episode by asking you, Jeff, the 2026 Mariners are. What are they? I asked you that question, and I think we've come to the conclusion that the Seattle Mariners in 2026 are identityless. That's a problem. That's a problem.
The team that sometimes quits.
Yeah. I like that. I loved the fight they showed.
The team that
Friday,
sometimes fights.
or whatever day that was. Sometimes fights. Jeff, any last notes for you?
Jacob Webb, come home.
Jacob Webb. Great. Wonderful note, Jeff.
Phil Matten.
Oh, man.
Caleb Thielbar.
Oh, man. He's just going to read their entire bullpen.
Yeah.
The Mariners need to make a move, and soon. When they make trade deadline moves, it tends to make this team go and start winning. It feels a lot like 2023 right now, and they got to figure it out. What's going to change? Who knows? But you're about to get swept by the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa Bay this weekend. It should be a blast. Don't tune into any of those games. As always, go M's. Peace.